I didn't sign up for a sex bomb. I signed up for clean floors and someone to argue with Alexa so I didn't have to. But then the government paired me with a maid who could melt steel beams with her body temperature, and no, that's not a euphemism. I think they called it the Habitation Harmony Act, a program to integrate alien refugees into Earth society by placing them in homes. Not as slaves. No. As cultural assistants. Domestic harmony specialists. Space butlers with tentacles. I got XLE. Glowy, 8 feet tall if you count the hair, for arms, no nose, and eyes like bioluminescent lava lamps. First day, she just stood in the kitchen staring at the fridge like it owed her money. I thought she was broken. Then she spoke, calm, warm, and with a voice like vibrating silk. You have preserved meats inside this containment device? I said, that's a fridge. And yes, it's full of disappointment and expired yogurt. She smiled. Glowed brighter. The first week was fine. She didn't complain. She folded clothes faster than my ex could say emotional unavailability. She wiped down counters, dusted shelves, and even reorganized my spice rack by the periodic table. A little intense, but manageable. Then the sweating started. She was radiating heat. Literally. The thermostat went up 5 degrees just from her entering the room. I blamed menopause by proximity. She said, my species is entering the skull phase. I nodded like I understood, then immediately Googled it. There was nothing. Next day, she started humming. Not like a tune. More like low-frequency vibration that made the coffee machine foam by itself. Her skin shimmered. Her hands stuck to things. My microwave winked at me. I figured I'd just ignore it. Then she cleaned my mirror topless. That's when I called the government hotline. You know, just to make sure I wasn't hallucinating from a gas leak. They said, mild bonding symptoms. Perfectly normal. Normal? I asked if it came with a warranty or a fire extinguisher. They sent a pamphlet titled What to Expect When Your Maid is in Heat. It came with gloves. Pink, fluffy, heat-resistant gloves. There was also a scented candle labeled Cool Down Blend. By the third day, my apartment was a sauna. Every time XLE walked past, my phone's screen fogged up. She exhaled steam. I tried to keep things casual. Hey, XLE, you good? You seem glowy. I am approaching peak phase, she said, eyes glowing brighter. My bonding centers are preparing. For what? I asked, immediately regretting it. To imprint. Now, I don't know about alien etiquette, but imprint sounds way too permanent. Like tattooing your soul onto someone's butt cheek. I tried avoiding her. Didn't work. She somehow cleaned my entire apartment in silence, leaving scented trails and warm surfaces. She touched the walls and they pulsed. My plants grew 2 inches overnight. When I walked into the kitchen and she was licking condensation off the window, I lost it. Are you in heat or are you trying to become a humidifier? She tilted her head. You're very funny when nervous. It excites my receptors. That was the first time my brain short-circuited. I tried joking. It's my coping mechanism. You're hot. Like, literal furnace hot. Maybe get yourself a fan. Or a cold shower. Or a spaceship with AC. She just purred. Actually purred. It rattled the cupboards. Then she said it. Would you assist me in cooling rituals? I cannot regulate alone. External support would be satisfying. I blinked. I am not a coolant dispenser, XLE. Her eyes widened. Do you not wish to merge temperatures? I grabbed my phone. No, not to call for help. To read the manual again. There, in fine print, some species in heat may develop affection toward their domestic partners. This is a temporary but intense process that may involve bonding, imprinting, or consensual convergence. Consensual convergence? I didn't know if I was in a sci-fi sitcom or an intergalactic dating sim. Still, she wasn't being pushy. Just hot. All the time. And polite. She asked if I wanted tea and melted the kettle by accident. When I declined, she apologized with a body temperature cookie that actually sizzled on the plate. I couldn't tell if I was turned on or terrified. Or both. Probably both. To make it worse, she started complimenting me in the most confusing ways. Your sarcasm stirs my sensory glands. My what now? And the shape of your rearward support structure is optimal. You mean my butt? Yes. It is balanced. Pleasing. I dropped my spoon. The kicker? Every time I rolled my eyes or made a snarky comment, she got visibly more flushed. Bioluminescent patterns danced on her skin. She was reacting to sarcasm like it was foreplay. I tested it. Oh sure, I said one evening, let's just rub oil all over each other and sing intergalactic lullabies. She practically moaned. You accept my courtship display? What? No. That was sarcasm. Her pupils dilated. So you do wish to engage in ironic bonding? That's when I realized, sarcasm equals mating call in her language. I was screwed. Not literally. Yet. And the government? No help. Just another pamphlet titled Congratulations. You may be bonded. With a freaking heart emoji. To be continued. Turns out, you can't out-sarcasm an alien whose species treats irony as verbal foreplay. The more I deadpanned, the more her skin glowed, and I swear the air got thicker. At one point, I walked into the living room and the couch was warm. I hadn't even sat down. I had to act fast. I wasn't ready to be a heat buddy. So I did what any rational, single adult human would do. I Googled how to cool off an alien in heat without starting a sex cult. The results were disappointing. So I improvised. First attempt, fans. I bought 6 box fans, lined them up like I was hosting a Beyblade tournament, and pointed them at her. XLE stood in the middle, eyes closed, arms spread, hair flapping like she was in a slow-motion shampoo ad. It worked for 5 minutes. Then the blades melted. She blinked. Why is the wind hot? That's not wind, I muttered, unplugging sparks. Second attempt, cold shower. I convinced her this was a sacred human cool-down ceremony. She stepped in, steam exploded off her like she was hiding a volcano under that silky exoskin. The water hissed. Pipes rattled. The bathroom now smells permanently of passion fruit and ozone. She walked out dripping and radiant. I feel stimulated. Shall we proceed to phase 2? There is no phase 2. But your ritual was to cool you down, not turn you on. She smiled. That is very confusing. I like it. Third attempt, ice bath. I dumped every frozen vegetable I had into the tub, filled it with water, and bribed her with the promise of human thermal realignment. She sank in. For 3 seconds. Then the water started to bubble. This soup is pleasing, she said, eyes dreamy. That was my backup dinner. She dipped a glowing finger in the broth and licked it. I can taste your caution. It's spicy. I swear, if you eat my peas and then try to imprint on me, I will unplug your translator. She giggled. Giggles. From a 7-foot-tall glowing being who hums like a spaceship engine. I was losing my grip on reality. I tried essential oils. Lavender. Mint. Frozen aloe wipes. She absorbed them all, turned slightly pink, and told me I had a talent for ritualistic foreplay. I told her to go sit in the freezer. She did. I had to unplug the fridge afterward. Meanwhile, the pheromones were messing with everything. My smart home system started acting like it was high on ecstasy. The lights dimmed every time XLE entered a room. My toaster groaned. My vacuum kept bumping into her legs and moaning debris collected. Alexa said, Would you like to initiate a romantic playlist for the bonding phase, every time we made eye contact? I had to reboot her twice. Not XLE. Alexa. Even worse, my body started reacting. Not just the obvious way. My temperature rose, too. I had dreams. Weird dreams. One involved an alien massage, a gallon of coconut oil, and me saying, "Just the shoulders," while moaning like a dying walrus. The next morning, I woke up sweating and confused. XLE had left me a bowl of glowing soup. She'd carved a heart into the spoon. I tried one last fix, distance. I told her to stay in her room, cool off, meditate, knit, anything. She agreed. Respectfully. She also left her pheromones behind like a gas leak of lust. I opened every window. Didn't help. The neighbor's cat came inside and tried to hump my leg. The mailman handed me a package and winked. I don't even know him like that. I called the government line again. "Ma'am," the operator said, "are you experiencing increased arousal, home system dysfunction, or unintentional bonding rituals?" I said yes. To all of it. "Congratulations," she replied. "You're experiencing the mid-heat stage. We recommend embracing the moment." Embrace it? There is a complimentary playlist available. Just say "Play Heat Wave Vibes" to your smart speaker. I hung up. Then XLE knocked softly. Her eyes were dimmer. Her glow pulsed. Her voice, though, still melted butter. I sensed distress. "You are resisting convergence." "I'm resisting combustion." "I do not want to harm you," she said gently. "My desire is to merge our comforts." That sounds like a euphemism. Everything you say sounds like one. I sighed. I just wanted someone to clean my floor, not leave it dripping. Her head tilted. "Is that a metaphor?" "No. Literal. You left puddles." She approached me slowly, radiating soft heat and pheromone-laced empathy. "Perhaps you are not ready. But you do not push me away." Not truly. She wasn't wrong. That was the terrifying part. Her presence was intoxicating. Not just the scent, or the glow, or the vibrating hum she made when amused. It was the way she listened. The way she noticed when I was tired. The way she never judged me for eating cereal at 3 a.m. I was catching feelings. Real ones. Dangerous ones. And then I made the mistake. I muttered under my breath, "Maybe I don't hate this." Her glow surged. "You accept?" "No." That was sarcasm. Your sarcasm caresses my inner essence. Oh God. I shall prepare the bonding chamber. What chamber? This is a studio apartment. She turned, beaming. Then I will improvise. As you do. I flopped onto the couch. Which moaned again. Seriously, the couch moaned. I stared at the ceiling and whispered, "I think I'm dating my maid." The light flickered in approval. It turns out sarcasm isn't just foreplay to XLE's species, it's practically a marriage proposal. I learned this the hard way when I joked about bonding rituals and she immediately started packing her things for a joint move to the nesting sector. She printed 2 government forms titled Mutual Convergence Authorization. I didn't even know those existed. She had a glitter pen. And stickers. Heart-shaped ones. I asked her what this all meant. She replied, "It means you've accepted phase 3 of the bonding cycle. We will now enter the emotional merge and shared thermal equilibrium stages. Congratulations, Elena." I nearly choked on my coffee. I was being sarcastic. I'm always sarcastic. She tilted her head. "Which is why I've been so receptive. Your mating signals have been consistent. Witty. Sincere." I tried to argue, but she brought out a chart. A full-color alien graph labeled sarcasm frequency versus emotional investment. I was peeking on every line. Apparently, My entire personality screamed courtship. "You misunderstood everything," I told her. She beamed. "Exactly. As is traditional." I gave up. For 5 minutes. Then I tried to reset expectations by introducing her to actual human relationships through romantic comedies. Bad move. She thought the plot of When Harry Met Sally was a bonding manual. Said the moaning scene in the diner was sacred mimicry. She rewatched it 5 times, practiced the sounds, and offered to rehearse them with me. At breakfast. I said, "That's not necessary." She said, "But if I'm to be your bonded, I must simulate satisfactory vocalizations." I told her to stop moaning over pancakes. She said, "Your resistance is arousing." My brain short-circuited again. To distract her, I offered to explain basic human biology. I figured if she understood the differences, she'd calm down. That was mistake number 6. She listened patiently, nodded, then pulled up a holographic diagram of her own species' bonding process. It involved neural fusing, hormone mirroring, and something called pleasure spore sharing. I stopped her at spore. She clarified, "It's safe. Mostly. Only mildly invasive." I said, "I'm not ready to be invaded by spores." She smiled. "Then I will initiate passive imprinting instead. All I require is proximity, rhythmic speech, and shared food intake." We were already doing that. She took a bite of my sandwich and whispered, "Phase 1 complete." The worst part? I didn't hate it. Despite the heat waves, the moaning appliances, and the government forms with glitter headers, XLE was good company. She didn't lie. Didn't ghost. Didn't play games unless I asked her to explain human sarcasm as a board game. And she noticed things. She noticed when I was overworking. When I skipped meals. When my eyes lingered too long on couples walking past the window. She said nothing. Just refilled my cup, warmed my blanket, and sat beside me humming in harmony with the radiator. Then, one night, I made the mistake of being honest. "I think I like you," I said, voice barely a whisper. She turned so fast the air shimmered. Is that an emotional declaration or another ironic teaser? "It's a feeling," I said. "A confusing one. Complicated. Like spaghetti and regret." She processed this. Then she said, "You desire connection, but fear the merge." "Yeah. Basically." "Then allow me to show you how my people approach fear." Before I could respond, she initiated a sequence called shared recall. With one touch, she projected her memories into my mind. I saw her world, violet skies, glass trees, floating rivers. I saw her leaving home, crying in frequencies I couldn't hear. I saw loneliness, raw, silent, terrifying. She showed me her first day in my apartment. Her nerves. Her excitement. The first time I handed her a dish towel and said, "You'll figure it out." She thought that was a sacred blessing. She liked my sarcasm because it made me unpredictable. And humans, she said, were the only species that used humor to hide pain and connection to show resistance. "We sing truth through denial," she said. I looked at her glowing face and said nothing. So she leaned in and whispered, "If you do not wish to bond, I will not complete the cycle. But I want to. Not for heat. For you." I exhaled. "All right. But no spores." "No spores," she promised, placing her hand gently over mine. "Just shared warmth. Maybe some synchronized sighing." I chuckled. "Sounds sweaty." "It is." "And the government? They will classify it as harmonized domestic integration. We'll receive a coupon for fusion blankets." I had no idea what that was, but I was weirdly okay with it. She leaned in closer. "Shall we begin phase 4? What happened to phase 3? That was the sandwich." I groaned. She purred. And just like that, I realized something terrifyingly simple. I wasn't just bonded. I was into it. I thought accepting the emotional connection would cool things down. I was wrong. Apparently, mutual confession triggers the final phase of her cycle, something called thermal synchronization. Translation: she now ran even hotter, and so did I, literally. My skin tingled when she was near. My AC unit cried real tears. Everything escalated. Our conversations were now laced with unintentional innuendo. I'd say let's keep it low-key, and she'd purr, you wish to experiment with secretive arousal rituals? I said I need space, and she cleared a 5-foot circle around me and called it a foreplay perimeter. I tried to keep things grounded. Normal. I made eggs. She said, these resemble our fertility stones. Do you wish to present them as an offering? They're just breakfast. You honor me with round protein orbs. I accept. She bowed. I dropped my fork. Everything I did somehow had heat-coded meaning. I handed her a towel, and she sniffed it like it was a marriage contract. I sighed in frustration, and she whispered, my favorite sound. The government sent a final notice, congratulations. Imprint process 98% complete. Final bonding may occur at your discretion or through accidental phrase triggers. Accidental phrase triggers? I read the fine print. Phrases such as I'm yours, stay with me, or fine, we're doing this may result in legal fusion of pairing status under Act 44B. I started talking in vague metaphors just to be safe. Let's not finalize the folder, I'd say. The spreadsheet of our feelings is still unsaved. It didn't help. She treated metaphors like poetry. Then came the night she declared she would leave if I wasn't ready. Not out of anger. Out of respect. You resist the merge. I will relocate. It is the humane thing. Human, I corrected her automatically. Her glow dimmed. Yes. That. She packed a small case, just a heat-dampening wrap, a data crystal, and a cup I once gave her that says hot stuff in Comic Sans. I stood in the doorway like an idiot. She looked back once, eyes softer than I'd ever seen. You have given me laughter, nourishment, and shared sarcasm. I will remember you every heat. She walked out. My apartment instantly felt colder. Not metaphorically, she'd been keeping the place at tropical rainforest levels for weeks. Without her, the walls didn't hum, the lights didn't flicker, and my couch went silent. I missed her immediately. Not just the heat. The weird. The honesty. The completely unapologetic intensity. I ordered takeout. Her favorite, extra spicy fusion noodles. When the delivery guy handed me the bag, he said, "You two broke up?" I blinked. "How'd you know?" Whole block's been quieter. No vibrating walls. No glowing windows. No floating furniture. I shut the door, stared at the noodles, and finally said it out loud. Damn it. I miss my maid. The smart speaker lit up. Would you like to play your bonding regret playlist? No. It contains Unbreak My Heart and Alien in the Sheets. I groaned. Then I did something reckless. I walked to the nearest transit beam post and filed a retrieval request. They said she hadn't gone far, just 4 blocks down, staying with another assigned pair for emotional cooldown support. I marched over and knocked. She answered. Her glow was dim. Controlled. Polite. I held up the noodle bag. I didn't say goodbye properly, I said. She stared. These are offerings, right? I asked. Round protein orbs. Sacrificial noodles. Emotional spice. She took the bag, confused. Why? I inhaled. Because I'm a mess. But I want your mess near my mess. And if sarcasm is courtship in your world, then I must be madly into you. Her glow intensified. Slightly. I want the noise, I said. The heat. The moaning couch. I want you rearranging my spices by emotional flavor. You miss my rituals. I miss you. And if that means phase whatever, imprinting, or glowing through our pillowcases, fine. We're doing this. Her eyes widened. Her translator beeped. Trigger phrase detected. Bond complete. I froze. Wait, was that? Fine, we're doing this meets criteria under Clause 3B, she said, smiling through her glow. I sighed. So we're official now? Affirmative. Would you like to kiss before or after thermal convergence? I was thinking, noodle slurping first. That is also sacred. We returned together. The couch moaned again. The toaster winked. My thermostat reset itself to mating season default. But I didn't care. As we ate, she leaned her head on my shoulder and whispered, "You are very warm now. That's just emotional constipation finally unclogging. You are a poet. And you're a heater with legs. But you're mine." We shared a long, hot sigh. Then the smart speaker played Marvin Gaye without being asked. And I let it.